Story 1. As soon as you think of something you want to do, act on it. The longer you wait, the more your mind will try to talk you out of it. Cook, clean, work out, and so on. Story 2. Start saving into your pension in your 30s, even if it is small. I ignored this for years, thinking I would catch up later. Big mistake. Time in the market beats timing the market. Compound growth needs time to work its magic. Waiting until your 50s means you will have to save much more for the same result. Start early, increase gradually, and your future self will thank you. If you do not, you will still be working in your 70s. Story 3. Do not go grocery shopping when you are hungry. I used to ignore that advice, but it saves a lot of money and prevents regrettable snack purchases. Story 4. Stop spending money on things you don't need. They will break and become useless in 5 to 10 years. Just stop. Growing up, I lived in a good economy in the 1990s and early 2000s, and now I regret not having saved money. It will probably only get worse, so just stop spending. Story 5. Action needs to happen before motivation. Do not wait for motivation because it rarely comes first. Just start. Story 6. Getting rid of social media. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Comparing your life to a fake curated life on a screen has caused significant mental damage. Starting with MySpace for those who remember the early era of social media. Story 7. Take notes. It does not matter what the situation is, benign or malignant. Take notes. Note the time of day, weather, actions, and things said. Take notes. Do not stress. Just take notes. Story 8. Took me far too long to learn this one. Always keep a bottle of water and a simple snack in the car. A granola bar, a few almonds, even an apple. You would be amazed how many small crises become much easier when your blood sugar is stable. Especially on long days with errands, unexpected delays, and evening traffic jams, those little things make a real difference. Story 9. Stretch daily. Your future self will thank you for improved mobility, reduced risk of injury, and significantly less general pain as you age. Story 10. Do not worry about the reaction of people. Forget the next second if any reaction or response affects you. You can never please anyone unless they want to be pleased. Story 11. Busy work life? Don't bother with long lists. 5 tasks, 1 for each finger. Get them done. Really, my own tip, just obvious. I got more done that way. Story 12. I was going through some challenges, and someone once told me to just decide to be happy. I thought that was nonsense. I mean, if it were that easy, why wouldn't everyone be doing it? Months later, I decided to give it a try, and it works. Though not quite as simple as it sounds, it is not very hard either. It is mostly about focusing on what is good instead of what is not, noticing the little things, and finding where you can have gratitude. Story 13. Go to sleep early. I used to think staying up late was productive, grinding, studying, catching up on work. But since I started prioritizing sleep, my mood has improved, my memory is much sharper, and my anxiety has decreased. Life is easier when you sleep instead of being tired all the time. Story 14. Wear sunscreen every day or at least moisturizers with sun protection factor 10 or 15. Ultraviolet rays are present even on overcast days, and the damage to your skin is irreversible. Story 15. Do not put anything work-related on your personal device. No applications, no email, no Microsoft Teams. You cannot truly disconnect if you can access everything all the time. Story 16. I am 35 now. These are the things people told me, which I regret to this day that I did not learn early. At 14, one of my neighborhood uncles, who is an accountant, told me, teach others or yourself what you learned. Feynman technique. I finally realized this at 30. My cousin, who is a doctor, told me to brush twice a day. I did not listen and ended up with 3 root canal treatments at 25. I finally began brushing twice daily from 26. At 15, one of my other cousins, who was a school topper, told me how to learn anything new. She said, study, then write a test, note all the mistakes you made, then come back after 3 or 4 days and repeat the same. What she meant is spaced repetition and active recall. I finally adopted this at 30. Story 17. Hiking sticks. I assumed they were for older people, then I tried them and they made hiking so much better. Story 18. Go outside. Go places. Take walks. Even 10 minutes outside with your own thoughts can be very stress relieving. Story 19. Learn how to work out properly and do it every day. I spent years thinking that if I wanted to be fit, I would need to do a lot of cardiovascular exercise, ideally long-distance running, as much as possible. I did not learn how to train properly, overexercised, and got many injuries. I often became discouraged and quit for months, then had to start all over. Only in the last few years have I learned how to lift weights and do a sustainable, enjoyable amount of cardiovascular exercise. It is much better to work out 20 to 45 minutes a day consistently than to punish yourself with rigorous fitness routines. A walk you enjoy is healthier than a marathon you hate. Story 20. 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, just do it immediately. This reduces procrastination and backlogs. Story 21. Sleeping well is the foundation of everything. I am constantly tempted to work late to meet deadlines, but whenever I do, it ruins my productivity for days afterward. Story 22. If you are a man, sit down to urinate. Otherwise, you will be splattering urine everywhere. My wife is really happy with this little trick. Story 23. 1. Putting things off only piles up the workload. Do it right away and you will not have to think about it anymore. 2. Floss your teeth and keep working out even after graduating high school. Your body will last longer and you will not be in pain like others in old age. Trying to work out after being inactive for many years is going to be a real struggle. 3. Do not take work too seriously. Do enough not to get fired, and rather than focusing on quantity of work, focus on quality. This will get you more recognition, and opportunities will come naturally. If you want to climb the ladder, make friends with the right people in higher level management by simply stopping by their office and having a pleasant conversation. Offer ways you can support them with their workload. 4. Cut out toxic people even if they are family or close friends. You are much better off without toxicity in your life than maintaining those relationships just to avoid feeling lonely. Story 24. Make lists. Do that up to the point where productivity peaks. That point is likely different for each person. My biggest surprise is that happiness is a choice. Story 25. Use a bidet. It is not only good for hygiene but also saves you a lot on toilet paper. There are also portable bidets that you can bring with you to places that do not have them. Story 26. Sleep is not optional. You do not win at life by sacrificing it. You just slowly fall apart and call it personality. Story 27. Do not rely on other people to do things that will make you happy. Have a selection of activities you can do every day that will make you happy and help you feel that you used the day well. Story 28. If you drink too much alcohol, take a headache pill before you go to sleep and drink at least 1 pint of water. Story 29. Dress warmly and take care of your feet. When my mother told me this, I ignored her and did not listen. However, when you are 22 and your feet hurt because of the weather, it is a disaster. Story 30. One boss said to me, "Before you speak, stop and think about what you want to say, and then decide not to say it." Mostly in jest at the end, but not having to reply to people who upset you is key. If someone is getting you angry, often intentionally, simply say nothing. Story 31. Start saving a portion of your money each month. Do not let your coworkers know how much work you actually do. Go for a walk every day for at least 30 minutes. You will feel less stressed if you stop putting things off all the time. For the love of God, buy a bidet. Story 32. Why do you care what that man thinks? If his opinion were worth anything, he would not be taking the bus like us. Story 33. Be yourself. I am an autistic woman. Like the stereotype goes, I went undiagnosed for a while. Because of that, I did not know why people did not like me or want to hang out with me. I masked away all the weird and fun parts of myself for a long time just to fit in. When I got my diagnosis at age 11, everything made much more sense. I started being myself. I talked about things I enjoyed, wore fun and silly shirts, and wrote stories about my favorite characters. Honestly, letting the mask fall made my life easier. I have friends, hobbies, a boyfriend, and things I can be passionate about without worrying about being too weird. Story 34. Not a tip, but one I give to people. One thing I started some time ago that is very useful is a journal on a Google document. Just write down information you think someone might ask about in the future. Interesting entries like October 9th, got flu vaccine. Side effects were November 10th, got new glasses last week. Here is my opinion on them. It has come in handy for situations like when I got new glasses a year later. The doctor asked if I remembered anything about how I liked my old glasses when they were new and how long it took me to adjust to them. When you have progressive lenses and a high prescription, it can be annoying. I pulled up the file and found notes on my feelings about my glasses. The doctor was very pleased, and it helped figure out details for my new glasses. It is not just for health-related information. I cover everything that requires a note. For example, when you last replaced your hot water heater and which car tire had a nail in it and was fixed with sealer. Story 35. Automate saving and investing as early as possible. Do not look at it and let compounding work its magic. Waking up an hour early gives you an entire hour to set yourself up for the day. Work out, meditate, read, or whatever it is. You will get that hour to yourself before the world and life inevitably fill up the rest of your day. Story 36. If you are going to a loud place, wear earplugs. This includes clubs and concerts. Your ears in your 30s, 40s, and beyond will thank you. Story 37. You should floss, then use mouthwash, then brush your teeth. Floss to loosen plaque and clear space between teeth. Use mouthwash to kill bacteria in the newly opened spaces. Then brush and spit to leave beneficial ingredients from toothpaste on your teeth. I used to always use mouthwash last, but it turns out I was rinsing off all the fluoride. Story 38. Mine was just start. I used to overthink everything, but now I try to take the first small step without thinking too hard. It actually helps with studying, exercising, and literally anything. Story 39. There is a difference between perseverance and blind stubbornness. Sometimes giving up on something is actually adapting. Story 40. Count calories. Actually learn it and do it consistently with everything you eat for a few months. I have always struggled with weight and have tried several different diets. Learning about calories makes you realize that every single diet is just a different way of limiting high-calorie foods and increasing intake of low-calorie foods. I have been bedridden with long COVID-19 for over 2 years, so there is really no exercise. Calorie counting has helped me lose 20 kilograms in a year without trying hard and without ever going hungry. Life cheat code. Story 41. Electric bidet. Prepaid cell phone planteo. Cut your own hair. Wall mount all screens. Use your calendar for everything. Story 42. Setting boundaries. I thought being kind meant saying yes to everything. It turns out that saying no to others means saying yes to myself. This is a game changer. Story 43. Do not use your phone in bed before going to sleep. As soon as you enter the bedroom, put your phone on charge and out of reach. I put mine under my bed. Now I typically fall asleep in about 5 to 10 minutes. Meanwhile, my wife, who is doing whatever on her phone, complains that she cannot fall asleep. Story 44. Cleaning the house before leaving for vacation is especially great when you come home to a clean house. Story 45. Making my bed in the morning mentally sets me up and supports me to feel like I am a person who pays attention to detail and wants things to be neat and proper. This then carries into my mindset for the rest of the workday or weekend. Story 46. Having hobbies helps with depression. I used to stare at a wall and cry for hours. Now I can keep busy while thinking and have fewer breakdowns. Story 47. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Story 48. Don't leave until tomorrow what you can do today. They told me often, and I simply ignored it. Later, I realized that it was the right advice. Story 49. Sleep. I spent my whole life getting 4 hours a night. During lockdown, I started really focusing on sleep. I had to go against a lot of advice out there, such as screen usage. I read at night exclusively on an iPad. Content was way more important. I read trash now at night. I can fall asleep mid-page. Anything truly engaging I avoid. No more scientific papers, no new books, no old favorites, no physical books. Too easy to think I'll finish the chapter. Then it was 4 chapters later and dawn was beginning to break. I'm averaging 6.5 hours on a weekday and can go a full 8 or more on a weekend. I don't wake up tired after more than 4 hours anymore either. Story 50. Eliminate most social media, especially Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Your mental and emotional well-being will drastically improve in less than a couple of weeks. Story 51. Run your errands as early as you can. Feels like you never even did them, and then you are home and done by 10 in the morning. Story 52. Not genius, but all the little things your parents tell you growing up. It's crazy how different your brain works when you take care of yourself. Clean your living space, get haircuts, eat semi-clean, use proper hygiene, and floss. Your mind works so much better when you don't hate the person you see in the mirror. Story 53. Go to bed earlier. I ignored it for years like a champ. I thought I was some kind of productivity vampire who thrived at 2 a.m. Then I tried sleeping like a functional adult, and suddenly there were fewer existential spirals, better skin, and I no longer wanted to fistfight the sun every morning. Absolute game changer. Turns out being well-rested is the real life hack. Who knew? Everyone knew. Story 54. Sleep on it. I thought that was not useful, but nothing clears the mind like a light head to help you solve things, and giving it time allows you to see other perspectives. Story 55. If you do not plan to use it at least once a week, do not buy it. I saved myself from wasting money on impulse purchases. Story 56. Do not go grocery shopping when you are hungry. I dismissed this advice for the longest time until I realized I was spending nearly $200 every trip and coming home with the most random items. Story 57. Hydrate with water after every alcoholic drink or electrolyte-containing beverage following the session to prevent hangovers. Story 58. Eat breakfast, even something small. My anxiety significantly decreased when I started fueling myself when I woke up rather than starting the day with coffee or energy drinks. Story 59. Follow your dreams as soon as possible. I wasted 2/3 of my 20s compromising with my ex. Now I am focused on achieving my goals. Story 60. Buy once, cry once. If you really want something and it is not significantly more expensive than a similar item, buy it. If you do not, you will regret settling for the similar item, and that will actually take away the pleasure. Story 61. Don't brush your lips, brush your teeth. A teacher told a story about how his brother would brush his lips to pretend he brushed his teeth to their parents. As an adult, he neglected his teeth to the point that moss or algae grew on them, and he had dentures by the age of 28. I luckily started brushing properly at 18 after learning how much money my parents spent on my teeth. Story 62. Not sure if it counts as a tip, but I started running a few years ago and it has many benefits. Healthier, slimmer, improved self-esteem, less anxiety, better sleep, and fun after a while. Story 63. After working the night shift for many years, I did not like coffee. However, I drank some one night at age 40, and things changed after that. I still do not really like coffee, but I am working a 12-hour shift tonight, and you better believe coffee was consumed tonight. Story 64. Vaseline on my nose when I have a cold and it is chafed raw. So soothing. My grandmother used to tell me to do that, and I ignored her for almost 30 years. I was wrong. Story 65. Do you enjoy a painless day? Brush your teeth thoroughly morning and night. I had a root canal a few years ago, and that pain versus a total of 4 minutes a day brushing my teeth is an easy decision. Besides, people will likely judge you for bad breath. People have odd opinions about bidets. Get one. Keep water at your bedside. Fill up whatever you have, such as a Stanley or Yeti mug, or keep 2 bottles of water. In the middle of the night or first thing in the morning, you'll thank yourself. Take daily vitamins, even if they're basic. You'll feel great. Keep in touch with your loved ones. Story 66. Romance without finance does not stand a chance. That is not to condone gold digging, but the reality is that in an individualist and capitalist society, money is a requirement for basics such as food, shelter, and more. Hearts, flowers, rainbows, and lovey-dovey feelings alone are not enough to secure that. If our love does not motivate us to get up and do whatever is necessary to ensure our loved ones are safe, fed, clothed, and sheltered at minimum, our love is not genuine and will not last. Story 67. Find joy in everyday life, or at the very least, do not worry about what others think. Very freeing. Story 68. Before you leave a room, fix one thing. Put that dish away, delete that email, scrub that toilet. You will notice the power of consistency as all these little things add up. Story 69. Better to do something and regret it than to not do it and regret never having done it. So far, I have never regretted what I did out of fear. Story 70. $5 a day, even $1 a day invested into an exchange-traded fund with dividends really adds up over time. Stop drinking your latte now and save for your latte later. Story 71. Take the civil service exam, try to get a job in government, and join a union. The work pays better, is more reliable than corporate jobs, and is fulfilling if you actually want to help people. Story 72. Exercise. Like seriously, my day doesn't feel like it started until I hit the weights. I am only 3 months into my routine, adding one more repetition every day and seeing where it takes me. Story 73. Exercise regularly and take care of your physical health. I used to hate exercising and thought I never would. Now I am in my 40s and exercise several times a week, building muscle, improving flexibility, and losing weight. I feel so much better about myself and only wish I had started years ago. Story 74. If it is worth doing, it is worth doing poorly. Doing things poorly will ultimately get you back to doing things if you are in a slump or feeling blue. Story 75. These tat items bring joy as reminders of holidays though. I love my magnets, and it's cute that people like to buy baskets of shells and plush seagulls. Story 76. Sleep enough, drink enough water, and do not take other people's opinions too seriously. Focus your attention. What you focus on is very important. Story 77. Just do it. I never really understood it when the campaign was first running, but years later I realized how powerful it is. Don't debate whether now is the right time. Just do it. It saves so much time and anxiety. Story 78. Journaling. I keep a book log, a quarterly personal journal, and vacation journals. I think it is healthier than people realize. I take a step back one night each season and reflect on my life in a couple of quick paragraphs. What is going on in my world, in the world in general, and in the lives of my family members? What have I read and listened to lately, and so on? I cannot do this every day, and I certainly would not look back at that much journaling ever. But 4 times a year is much more manageable for me. You can instantly relive the best parts of every vacation you have taken. Just write a quick paragraph at the end of each day describing where you went, what exactly you ate, and funny or emotional things that happened. You will look back a decade later and still remember little details about that time. For every short story, novel, or nonfiction book I have read, I write it down when I read it, along with a brief reaction and a rating if I have time. If you read a lot, this really helps with recalling certain stories or books, and ratings help you remember which authors you want more of. I have discovered many great writers and stories this way. Story 79. Doing simple stretching exercises first thing in the morning only takes a few minutes, but it really changes how my body feels throughout the day. Story 80. See what you want but start from where you are. It is really all you have, because if you try to do that with this, you will be very frustrated. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.